just got off a workshop and getting ready for boxing. Apparently, I'm getting better, so got all the space to do it. So had a workshop this morning. About 85 people came, and it was about content. And as usual, you know, the usual folks turn up. It's about half kind of coaches, and then half people who do other stuff. And of the coaches, you know, about 50% of the people who work with me, I'm going to sit down, 50% of the people who work with me sell money, like business coaches, right? And so business coaches, people go, well, it's really easy to make a promise if you're a business coach or you sell money because it's tangible. And like, James, how do I improve my offer? Because it's easy for business coaches, they can just help people make more money. And that is true. It is easy to make a clear offer about making more money. Like, you know, I will help you make $100,000, give me $10,000, like oversimplification, but that kind of works. But there were a lot of people there who sold personal development, healing, fitness, and these things which are, in their eyes, less tangible. And I've had this for years, and ironically, some of my most successful clients over the years don't sell money. They don't sell business coaching. They don't sell strategy. They sold help. They sold personal development. They sold fitness. And the reason they were successful is I helped them make their offers tangible. And one of the things that, you know, if you're selling personal development, you're selling fitness, etc., is that people talk about I sell confidence or I sell clarity. And you don't. You cannot sell those things because they are outcomes of doing things, right? You do not need to have clarity on how to become a millionaire. You just need to do the things that are required to become a millionaire. You do not need to believe and have the confidence that you can become a millionaire. You just need to do the things that are required to have it. There is plenty of unconfident millionaires. But in the course of like selling personal development, lots of people default to, I help people become more confident. I help people with clarity. And the correlation, the causation is just like really the wrong way around, because people become confident by taking action, being consistent with that action, i.e. not lying to themselves, and their confidence develops. But again, like peppered throughout this, I've said the word, like doing and action, right? So if you're in the personal development space, if you're selling fitness or anything like that, fitness is a little bit easier because you can be tangible about, you know, muscle gain or fat loss or, you know, specific performance metrics. But if you're in the personal development space, you are not in the business of selling confidence and clarity. You are in the business of selling specific actions that that person has confidence in, that if they do that action, that on the other side, they will get more confidence and more clarity. So like a tangible example, the other factor of these examples is that there needs to be an incentive for people to do it. People don't just seek to improve themselves without an incentive. People don't seek to heal trauma without an incentive. So someone who came on the workshop today, they help people with trauma. And we talked about, you know, specific like sexual trauma. And one of the things that people with those kind of traumas have is they tend to heal that trauma when they have an incentive to do so. And the incentive is, I'm absolutely sick to death of living like this, and I've reached the end of my tolerance for this, so therefore I want to live a better life. The other one is they enter a relationship where the cost of the trauma, they see the direct cost of the trauma affecting their relationship, so therefore they have a high incentive to heal that trauma. And so I said to her two things. Firstly, you need to talk to the incentive. You know, if you're in a relationship and you want to heal your trauma, like now is the time. So you talk to the symptoms of these things coming up. You know, you talk to your content talks to the symptoms of that your trauma is getting in the way of your intimacy, that your trauma is pushing your partner away, and you know, here's an example of someone who did that and they lost their relationship. But here's an example of someone who used my XYZ mechanism, and they went from pushing their partner away because of their trauma to welcoming and then them enjoying intimacy every day. So the tangible things are, okay, you need an incentive to do it, but you also need to take tangible action. And this is where mechanisms come in. You are not selling the outcomes, you are selling the mechanisms that people do. So, with my terrific trauma protocol, in 30 days you'll heal your trauma so you can have more confidence, more intimacy, and more on the other side. You are never in the business of selling the things that are on the other side of something. You are in the business of selling the mechanisms that go into it, because that allows people to see what you actually sell and what you actually buy, what they are actually buying, and allows you to differentiate in the market for people who are talking about these, things of confidence, like you can't point at those things, to say, this is a mechanism, it does this in this period of time, you're going to invest in this mechanism because you have the incentive to do so, because you're in a relationship or you're sick to death of the thing that you're doing. So all offers and all messages can become tangible if you point at the things that happen as an outcome, a tangible, pointable result. Confidence so you can have a better relationship, or you point at a tangible mechanism that people actually have an input through. Because if you keep talking in these kind of generic, woolly terms about, people will become more confident when they work with me and people like that, then you're confusing what people buy, and you're confusing the ultimate outcomes that you derive, because those outcomes are a byproduct of the action and the work that people ultimately do. So selling supposedly intangible things becomes very simple when you point at things that they are actually buying, you point at incentives that they have to do it right now, and you point at ultimately the distinct outcomes that they have. And those outcomes, monetary outcomes are easy for people to value, but outcomes that are behavioral or that show up in people's lives so you can have more intimacy every day, become much more tangible than these kind of generic ideas. Every offer can be made tangible. It just requires a little bit of looking and a stepping back from the mixing up of the correlation and the causation of the work that you do. I personally help people make money. They do the work and they get the outcomes and they get the benefits, and they use that money to do things, which is a lot of the other stuff I talk about. They do use that money to live a better life, but at the end of the day, I point at the outcomes, I point at the mechanism, and I point at the things that people can actually see and value. And that works no matter what you sell.